Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 1st of September, September 1st, 2022. Very excited to kick the month off with our reverse book club. We do this every month. A different leader in our company tackles a popular book or some piece of literature for you to apply to your business and personal life. And this month we are going to hear from Art Obleton about the 12-week year. So many of you know Art. He has been a regular cast member on sales meetings. He is in his second year as a member of our Agent Leadership Council. And has just this year, I believe, or maybe towards the end of last year, started the AO group, his real estate sales team. So lots of accomplishments for Art. He is also a tremendous representation of the 5th of the 6 personal perspectives, which is make being learning based the foundation of your action plan, right? There are few people that are more consistent in pursuing education and learning for improvement than Art. And this book is a great one. He and I were chatting before we went live as to whether or not he enjoyed it when he read it, and then we were reminiscing about some of the high points from it. For those of you that are with us today, I strongly encourage you to dial in, turn your cameras on. This is going to be a very well thought out and strong presentation. And I think it's really important to understand that there are few books that qualify for personal and professional at both such a high level. So the 12-week year is going to be a conversation around getting in the right mindset, executing at a high level to an action plan, rewarding yourself, and everything in between. But what I want you to understand and really lean into and think about as you work through this is, and as you listen to Art break down what took place, how can you apply this in your business, right? First and foremost, that's what we want to zero in on. You can achieve outstanding results through the models and systems of this book. But then I also want to encourage you to think about things in your personal life, whether it's your health, your fitness, your sleep, your diet, your travel, your hobbies, anything, your family, your children. There are applications of this model across personal and professional, more so than maybe any other book we've reviewed in recent history. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Art Obleton, Jr. Take it away, my friend.
Thanks a lot, Mike. I appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity. And what a gracious introduction. I appreciate it so much. So let me go here. So the book, The 12-Week Year, the authors are Brian Moran and Michael Lennington. It's a book I chose is interesting, and I'll mention some of this information later on in the presentation. It's interesting how you are drawn, how we can be drawn to certain things, because for quite some time, well, I remember years ago, I would talk about acceleration, like, just wanting to accelerate and go faster in life and just do more. And my coach mentioned this book, Joe Katzenberg, and my sister read the book. So they recommended the book, and lo and behold, the book does discuss some concepts, and one of the concepts is acceleration. I think with the book, it's a good idea of acceleration in terms of if you feel like you're behind in life or just want to go faster or want to accomplish more in a shorter period of time, it's a great book for that. A book in terms of, in order to accelerate, you have to have a high level of intensity and a high level of concentration, focus. I remember watching a video where Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, who are both good friends, were sitting down beside each other, and Bill's father asked both of them, gave them both a sheet of paper and a pen, and asked and told them, write down the one word that would help you achieve the success and the wealth you have. Without either of them discussing the question or the confirm, they both wrote down the word focus. To be able to accomplish things at a high level, you have to be able to focus and to accomplish things at a high level, you got to be able to concentrate on a goal and go for it. So there we go. The goal setting talks about a lot of goal setting, and not just goal setting and working hard over a short period of time, because that's a lot of what it is, being intense over a short period of time, but to do so with exceptional achievement without burning yourself out. The book is a 12-week year, so that 13th week, you would take a break or a few days off, regroup, replenish yourself, and then be able to get back into the next year. There will be the next 12 weeks. There is a concept. There was a concept regarding periodization. This book was based upon with athletes. With athletes, they're talking in terms of working out or training for 4 to 6 weeks intensely and developing that part of their game, their muscle, that skill set, and then moving on for afterwards. So it's intense for a short period of time, and that's what you do with your business in your life. And so there's another concept, high intensity interval training, and you work out intensely for a short period of time, maybe like my father, when I used to run track, he said you would run 200 meters very fast, very hard, walk 200 meters, then run another 200 meters as fast as you can. And with these short bursts of exercising, what it does is it burns calories for 24 hours, up to 24 hours after the workout. The short, intense workouts like that with short breaks. So one thing you got to mention with this is the brain and vision in part one. Part one is about building the right foundation. So to build that with the brain and and having a vision. So there's the amygdala in part of the brain that is our triggers to fight or flight responses. Michael always says emotion make them act and logic make them think. So this is the part of the brain that makes them act, makes people act, and it turns on naturally, just instinctively, fight or flight. And what it does is it rejects uncertainty. This part of our brain rejects uncertainty and risk, and so it rejects it rejects a better future when you are unsure how to maintain it. Like, for example, if you want to accomplish something and you're not sure how you're going to do it, but you want to do it, what that amygdala does, it helps you stay in your comfort zone. And as we know here at Keller Williams, in order to grow, you have to keep stepping outside of your comfort zone. You have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. If you're comfortable being uncomfortable, then you can keep growing at a high rate, you can grow fast. And a lot of the book and growth is about intensity. Be intense for 12 weeks, take a break, the 13th week, or a few days off, and regroup, make your plans for the next 12 weeks, will actually be another year. And so during the 12 weeks, you're intense and you're not giving yourself time to lag, to slack, or to get behind what you would do in a normal year of planning, because it's short, intense bursts of effort. So the other portion of the brain, back to that, is the prefrontal cortex. So what this does is it's the logical part of the brain. It allows us to think and be excited. It's more logical and it's not instinctively. You have to think through the process and have a dream or have a vision. And when you have that dream or vision, what it does, it lights up that portion of the brain. And you're excited about a future. You're excited about a vision, the vision you have for your future, a happier marriage, a healthy family, growing your business, accomplishing more in life. So these portions of the prefrontal cortex counterbalances the other portion of the brain, and so it balances each other out. And so thing is, there's a concept with a lot of times in books, especially the self-help books, you come across similar concepts. And I've come across this concept quite a few times in reading self-help books, which is neuroplasticity. And neuroplasticity is simply the brain's ability to change. Psychologists thought years ago that the adult brain could not change. That if the person was negative, they'll always be negative. If the person had an addiction, they'll always have that addiction in life. So what they found is that through meditation, focusing on positive words and positive thoughts, that you can actually change the brain, change your brain, and these the neurons are fired in the brain to begin to heighten or activate the prefrontal cortex to help you to grow and help you to see have a better life for yourself, and begin to change that way of thinking that psychologists thought you will always have as an adult. And so what happens is, if the person's prefrontal cortex is not activated, then the portion of the brain that causes them to resist change will be strengthened. And so it'll be strengthened, and the person will be in a position in life where there's little to no progress. And you can see, hey, this is simple. Just, you can give them advice, loving, caring kind of advice, and you give them advice, and it's just simple to you or to us that this is something they should do. And lo and behold, they just can't seem to do it, because they've been stagnant in a position in life for so long, and they're thinking where they have not activated that prefrontal cortex, that they're really stuck. They're really stuck in their thinking, and stuck in life where they can't grasp those new concepts and begin to do something to move on. Like for example, like with neuroplasticity, this is something that actually I can talk about a little bit. I applied this concept because there was a time when I was a substitute teacher, and I wasn't in a good spot in life, really wasn't. And what I did is, I would literally, there were 2 books I would have with me, like even when I went to work. So I was a substitute teacher, and I would get I would strategically choose the classrooms with the, say, grades pre-K through 3, and ideally pre-K. I mean, there's no more compensation for working with hormonal 8th graders. There's just more challenge, right? So I just would work with the pre-K students. And so there was a time in the day where the students would go to their special art music gym, and they'll have the nap time. And so, like, during their nap time, what I would do, I would always have my backpack, and what I would do is, you let the cots out, and it all gets settled down on the mat, and they'll take their nap. Lights out. I would open my backpack, read 1 or 2 books. I would have my Bible, read that by the light, by the window, and then from there I would read Think and Grow Rich. And so for a period of time in my life, those were the only 2 books I read. And by reading those, by reading those books and reading the positive books to reinforce my belief, reinforce it in a 21st century perspective, then I began to change my thinking, actually begin to change, to see myself in a better situation, and can see myself really no longer working that job. And I know I did not want to. I mean, people work jobs, it's great, and that wasn't a full-time job, but I knew I wanted to do something else that was that I would be in more control of my income. I wanted to have my own business. Didn't know what it would be, didn't know what would come of it, or what the business would be, or how it would happen. I would just continue to read my self-help books, read my Bible, and read my self-help books, and I just had more hope more encouragement that something was going to happen for me positively, and I didn't know how it was going to happen. And continue to read, and I shared my story over and over. Was reading and had an impression one day to become a realtor and to call the division of real estate again to find out what it takes to get my real estate license. Lo and behold, took the test, passed the test. Didn't really want to do it because from 05 to 06, I only sold 2 homes. The whole year, I only sold 2 homes. And the market boomed then. And so why would I go back into that? But I have this divine impression to go back and try real estate again. And I did it. And lo and behold, I only wanted to sell houses to family members and friends, and buy a house to fix it up, move into it, and then sell it and move on like that. So here I am. I sold more houses to family members and friends. And my point is this neuroplasticity, rewiring your brain. That's what that is too. Changing the way you think, putting images in front of you that give you that promise you the life you want, a better life. Like for example, Arnold Schwarzenegger. They asked him, how were you able to come from a different country and be so successful here in America? He said there was an image, he had an image in his mind of success, and he lived into the image. Images are important. Words are worth pictures are worth 1,000 words. Videos are worth 1,000,000. So he lived into the image. So I'm big on images. Like I'll share this with you real quick here. I have this right here. I did not plan this. I have this magazine here, Cleveland Magazine, that I have been collecting for the last 7, 8 years. And I was at the time when I first started buying the magazine, before I was a realtor, I would buy the magazine. I lived in inner city, bought the magazine, and I would literally read the articles of that issue every June. I would get that magazine and read the articles and taking the pictures and read the articles of all the different suburbs, and knew that I would live in a better place. And I knew I had to put those words and those images before me to eventually have that. And so lo and behold, I become a realtor. Got my name in the magazine a couple of times, and then this past year, I was one of the agents that did an article on me in the magazine as featured as one of the top agents in that magazine for Cleveland. So I didn't know that was going to happen, but I put all that before me and just lived into the image. So back to this here, redefine the year. Neuroplasticity works. That's my concept on it. I know that. So you have to redefine the year. So now 12 weeks is 1 year, and let me see here. 1 week will be a month, okay? And then a day was equal to a week. So the intensity and what you have to accomplish in the period of time to get these things done. So 12 weeks, and there it is, 12 weeks a year, 1 week a month, and a day 1 week. So there's no time to waste. There's no time for frivolous tasks. You'll see that there's time for that, but you have to schedule that into your day. So the book has 3 core principles. One is accountability. Accountability here. So accountability is not consequences. It's not punishment. It's you taking ownership of your situation, ownership, looking at the person in the mirror, and taking ownership of your choices. It's not that you have to, but you choose to. And I did that. I had to demand more from myself. I expected more from myself, and I was going to do more. Commitment. Commitment was another one. It talks about commitment to yourself, not letting yourself down, building a self-esteem, being more successful, having more character, and then commitment to other people. not letting your teammates down if you have a team, or your coworkers. And greatness in the moment. Be present in mind, physically and mentally, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. So the accountability portion, like I said, taking ownership of your actions. It's not about the consequences. You choose to, not that you have to. If you feel that you have to, then you're going to do the bare minimum. It's all mindset. It's all mindset. Like I shared what I said, Keller Williams, 90% of success is mindset and 10% is skill. That's the difference. Mindset. The battle of life is won between the ears. Between the ears. The most important 6 inches on your body is between the ears. You won or lost right there. Some people, and many times people they've lost before they even tried. I mean, you have people right now in real estate, and they're opposed to. They may have experienced a slowdown somewhat, and right now they're looking at getting out of the business, opposed to saying, we're having the right mindset, having the mindset of knowing that they can do it. If it has to be, it's up to me. And work and developing their skills to becoming a better realtor. They've already checked out of the business. They can have their license, but they don't feel they can do it. So accountability, and you have to confront the reality and the truth of your choices. And the choices do create consequences. Positive or negative, we live in a cause and effect world. Cause and effect world that happens. And another one of the core concepts is commitment. Like I mentioned, keeping your promise to yourself and to others. Promises to build yourself, kept promises help build your character and your self-esteem and success. And it helps other people have trust in you. If you say you're going to do something, you do it, you follow through. And you do it when you say you're going to do it, just the way you say you're going to do it. And that's what I learned working with students too. If you say you're going to do it then, whether it's a reward or punishment or discipline. Do it immediately, quick, right to the point, the reward or the consequence, because then you develop a consistency in your classroom management, a consistency in what you do, and then people can have confidence and trust in that whether it's good or bad, or whether they like it or not, you're at least consistent in what you're doing, and they know your stance on issues and where you're from, what you're doing. Interest. There's a difference between interest and commitment. Interest is, if it's convenient, I'll do it. If it's not convenient, I won't do it. And then commitment. Commitment is, I put it as sacrifice comfort, because in the book, in order for you to succeed, you're gonna have to sacrifice your comfort. To say yes to success is to say no to comfort. You're gonna have to sacrifice the comfort and to push yourself once again outside the comfort zone. Commitment is love. I mean, commitment is sacrifice, and sacrifice is love. I was told a guy told a story how he before he married his wife, they went to premarital counseling with his parents. His parents were pastors, and his parents told him, he said, you do not love her. And he says, well, yeah, I do. I'm marrying her. I love her. And he found out later on when they got married, they had the child, and his wife was bedridden, and he had to take on a lot of duties, a lot of tasks, a lot of responsibility that he didn't expect to do. Cleaning behind the baby, changing the baby, tending to his wife, cooking for his wife, cleaning behind the baby. The baby having accidents on him, waking up in the middle of the night, doing a lot of things well above and beyond what he thought he would have to do because he thought his wife would have been able to help him, you know, before they got married and we had the child. And he just went on and on and on, doing whatever it takes and just doing whatever he had to do for his wife, the baby, and working and just keeping things going in the household. And he told his parents about the situation, and they told him, now you love her, because he showed the commitment. So commitment shows, it shapes our lives, marriages, relationships, and drive the results we have, and it helps us build character. Greatness in the moment, like I mentioned before, one of the core concepts, be present. You can actually enjoy life more if you're present, you're here, you're not physically here and mentally somewhere else. You have to be consistent, and you can get the most out of your life in that moment when you're physically and mentally there. This is something my coach tells me: slow down so you can speed up, which is slow down your process, listen presentations, phone calls, get more information on the phone when you're talking to the client, process everything, get a clear understanding. Like she told me, she said, I'm telling about a deal, and I said, well, I think it's like this, or I think this is what the seller wants. She said, you know, if you have to fill in the blanks, then chances are you're wrong. You want to get them you want to get as much clarity as possible. Yes, we're excited to get the listing appointment. You're excited to work with this buyer, or things have been, you're excited to get the opportunity, but you at least have to get the information up front to know how viable of a lead this is. So I put that in there, slow down so you can speed up. Greatness is achieved during the decision, right? Not when the goal is accomplished. I was telling my coach something. I said, well, this is what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna take the next step. And said, when you make it, she said, when you make up your mind to do it, it's already done. The decision causes it to be done. When you actually, not when you do it, not just saying how you're gonna do it, but when you actually in your mind and you know you are going to do it, then that's when the decision is made, and the greatness will begin. That's the start of it. When the greatness, he gave an example of Michael Phelps winning 18 gold medals. He said he didn't become great when he won 18th gold medal. He became great when he made the decision to put in the work. When you make the decision to put in the work, make the calls, make the appointment, follow up when you don't want to follow up, that's when the greatness is actually has begun actually. I remember an interview, and one thing I like about sports, I haven't been too fond of sports since I've been in real estate, because I just love real estate more than I love sports. But I do like watching the interviews after the championship games. I do like watching those interviews, and I've actually gone on YouTube and watched some of the interviews, because that 30-second bite or that 60-second sound bite, it puts you in the mind. It gives you a glimpse of the mind of the champion. So it shows you what they're thinking, their process, and how they would accomplish what they accomplished. So there was, I never forget Gabby Douglas, the Olympic gymnast. She said she won a gold medal, and she said she practiced when she didn't want to practice. And she said when you practice when you don't want to, that's when you become better. So you have to do it when you don't feel like it, when it's not convenient. Remember, commitment is you do it whatever it takes to get it done, whatever it takes. Interest, if it's convenient, it's a good idea, it's cute, it's nice, but I don't really want to do it. And then we're in the market now, and we're going more into a market where those who had interest in real estate, they could very well go to the wayside. And it's going to take realtors who are committed to doing it. I remember when my father and I were sitting at a high school basketball game, and my phone rang. Right, this is shortly after I became a realtor. My phone rang, and in my phone I type in buyer hyphen in the name, and the phone rang, and my father saw my phone. Took the phone. I took the call, and he said, "You actually have your name as the buyer?" I said, "Yes, it's a buyer." I said, "I mean," and I'm like, I said, "I have to make this work. Becoming a realtor and this realtor opportunity, I have to make it work." And I did not have a plan B. Of course, not a plan, and no other plan, no other idea. People ask, "Well, what would you do if you were not a realtor?" I can't answer that. There's only when you have too many options. Usually, you don't do extremely well in one. So I just had one option, and I had to make it work. And so I'm committed to making it work. Difference between greatness and mediocrity is could be 5 or 10 more phone calls a day. Could be 1 or 2 more appointments a week. Brian said in the book, he said the difference between greatness and average does not look like much in the early going in the beginning, but as you go farther down the road, there is a big difference. There is a big difference between an extra few phone calls and another, because it's the last phone call that can lead to another appointment, and that's the appointment that you get another listing, and that's the appointment you get the listing, and that's the person that refers you to someone else, and you connect you to their family, and they have people in their family who invest in real estate, and they're flipping houses, and it goes on. I know it may sound too rosy, but many of us on a call know that can happen like that. So 5 to 10 phone calls, 5 to 10 phone calls more. Just push yourself. Be great every day. If you be great every day, you can achieve your 12-week goal. Be great every day. Okay. Let's see. Part 2. So we lay the foundation. So we apply the 12-week year. We're applying the concept to 12-week year. And in the 12-week year, at this point, there are 5 disciplines. You have the vision, the planning. Put your plan together for the 12-week plan. Process control, where you're managing, keeping yourself on track with what you're doing and surrounding yourself in the right environment. Measurements, they mention a scoring system, and using your time wisely. You'll see that has to do with time blocking. So what you want to do is you want to create your vision. Have a vision that you are emotionally connected to. You have to have a vision that you're emotionally connected to, not something you just spit out or just put down on paper. Because you're smart, you can just say something and think it'll fly. Have a vision that you're emotionally connected to, because when times get tough, the emotion is gonna have to get you out of bed to go do what you said your vision is, to accomplish those goals. You have to. There has to be a connection. Like, for example, I call it have a foundational why. And I know we call it a big why at KW, like a foundational why. And my coach mentioned to me, he said, you have to find the why that makes you cry. When you get down to the foundation, what is the why that makes you cry? You may want to retire with, say, $2 million in retirement. Okay. Why? I want to live a comfortable life when I'm retired. Why? I want to be able to travel and do the things I want to do. Why? It makes me feel independent, and I don't need someone to look after me. Why do you want this? Why do you want this money? And also, you have to keep asking yourself why. I don't want to be in a position where I'm a senior and I have to choose between paying my mortgage and buying food. Why? And it goes down deeper. I want to feel good about myself. Why? I want to be an older person and look at myself in the mirror and have self-esteem and have self-dignity as an aging senior. So you're getting more to the emotion. I want to have that emotion. I want to feel good about myself and have good worth about my good self-worth. And no, money does not give you self-worth, but it can be an extension or an expression of who you are. So you just want to get to the why and get to the emotional part of it, because it's the emotion that takes effect that's going to drive you, not the logic, but the emotion. So you have to have a vision. The personal vision keeps you going when things get tough. And that personal vision is connected to the emotions. And as we Keller Williams, we say, the purpose of business is to fund your perfect life. Well, your business vision funds your personal vision. Who wants to just say, I want to sell I want to sell 100 houses in a year. Why do you want to do that? If you ask deep enough and ask why enough and get down to go to the foundational why, you'll find out the person wants to sell 100 homes for a personal reason. I mentioned about the elderly. There's a personal reason, not just the saying I want to be in the Ohio Business Hall of Fame. Okay, but there's a personal reason that causes your business to go to drive you. You ask and regarding creating a vision, what if? Vision in question, what if? And then you ask, what if it happens? What if this actually takes place? What if I can do this? And then you put it, how can I do it? That's when you put your plan together. And then your aspirational vision, the long-term vision, you have a 3-year midterm goal, and then your 12-week goal. So the 12-week goal, so you start with the overall vision for your life, where you want to be long-term. Then you bring it down, bring it into three-year goal, and then 12 weeks. So like reverse engineering. You want to start at the end, start with the end in mind, and then start from Z, and then come back to A, and then work yourself from A to Z, like the way they'll shoot a movie. So you develop your 12-week plan. So written goals increase your odds of achieving them. I've been times I've written goals down, put them in a shoebox. I remember one time I wrote a list of goals, put them in a shoebox, came back to them sometime months later and realized I had accomplished those goals and I even forgot about them. But I accomplished those goals. Studies show that when you write those goals down, you have a much greater chance of succeeding. There was a study done, I think it was at Harvard or Yale, I think it was Harvard, where they followed 100. They would follow a number of Harvard graduates, and they found out that the top 2% were as successful as the other 98%. And they interviewed the top 2% and found out that the top 2% wrote their goals down. They were strategic. They wrote their goals down. So you want to write your goals down, and you want to stick with them. You want to stick with them and put them before your eyes on a regular basis. There was a concept in Think and Grow Rich that says, at the end of the day, have your goal in mind and lay in bed peaceful and quietly and visualize yourself accomplishing that goal. That concept is creative visualization, where you visualize yourself in the goal or the dream you have. Remember, Arnold Schwarzenegger lived into the picture that he had in his mind, picture of success. Act in the moment, because your future is created in the moment by doing high value tasks. You don't want to do a lot of frivolous tasks. You don't want to do busy work. It's so funny to me how realtors get together, and even some of the top realtors, they'll ask each other, have you been busy? You've been busy, 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 busy? And it's like, I'm saying, well, the goal is not to be busy. The goal is to be effective, So, and I tell the new agents and agents on my team, don't mistake activity for accomplishment. You don't want to do that. Don't mistake activity for accomplishment. You can always be busy. You can run around. You can take emails, phone calls, text message, and you just do a lot of work that's not dollar productive. In business, you want to engage in activities that are revenue producing, high value tasks. And you'll find out, maybe say there are one or two key actions that you do, that you'll do regularly to move the needle, to get the results you want. And also with your vision, you can have short-term and long-term capacity results. Short-term is going to get you results, or in the 12-week period. Long-term is something like planting seeds for the future. They get you results later on. I have to go to the page here. Effective plan structure. So first criteria, you want to make the goals specific and measurable. There's something called lead indicators and lag indicators. The lead indicators are the indicators, are the tasks that affect the lag indicators. Lead indicators like are tasks like call 10 people today. That's a lead indicator. A door knock, make Facebook posts. Those are lead indicators. The lag indicator, the ultimate lag indicator, is going to be your 12-week goal. Okay, the end result is the lag indicator. And then we'll see that again here shortly. Criteria 2, state your goals positively. Ensure the goals are realistic, but cause you to stretch. Assign the accountability, like if you have a team or somebody working with you. Make the goals to be time bound. And the goal is similar to the SMART goals, that concept. SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. So having said all that, we have to put the goals together. So this is what I next to it. What I have planned. The average is lower, but I want to focus on the average home sale is lower. I want to focus on the number of units. So 12 weeks, the next 12 weeks. And so really I'm going to push it for the fourth quarter. And that's what I want to do, is encourage you to read the book and go over this so you can have a strong fourth quarter, because the book did mention in the fourth quarter there are more results and people push to close more deals in the fourth quarter, not so much as us, the realtors, but in companies, because there's a sense of urgency, and you want to create a sense of urgency, and the book creates a sense of urgency. This concept creates a sense of urgency. So I figure if every week, and you have these goals, and once a week, we'll make 100 contacts. Sounds like bold. Follow with the clients, go on 3 listing appointments, have at least 2 listing appointments signed, close at least 1 listing, and it's more than that will close. That's kind of conservative. Provide buyer with at least 1 buyer's agent with a pre-approved buyer a week, and the buyer agent obtain a buyer, pre-approved buyer, and the buyer agent close a sale themselves. So if I close the sale and the buyer agent closes the sale, we'll close 2 a week, 12 weeks, 24 closings. The averages are coming down. By average, I've been kind of low, but $140,000 average. So that'll give it, I think I did the math. I think I was like 14.4 or 13.4 million in 52 weeks. And then on the 13th week, take a break, go out of town. And Debbie Ribiscus and I talked about a concept some time ago, and I mentioned to Michael, and Debbie came. I was doing a deal with Debbie, and she said I was following up on a transaction, and she said, "Oh, I just came back from vacation. I have these listing appointments and these buyers." It's like, wow, I'll go on vacation more. And I heard that I thought of that, and I remember her saying that, and she said, and lo and behold, I went out of town, and business picked up when I came back. And I think I went somewhere again, and business picked up again. And I mentioned to Michael, and he said, yeah, it works like that. And like Debbie, before this, when Carrie sent out the promo, she said, just go on vacation, laugh out loud. She sent me an email, just go on vacation, laugh out loud. So you have to take those breaks. And it just does something where it recharges you, and you come back stronger and get more results. It's kind of like in business, where I'm quite sure that people on the call have seen this in your business. You go through a lag or a slow period in your business, You're doing good, and then all of a sudden you go through a slow period, or some deals fall through, or deals delayed, or something slow happens. It just didn't work out for a short period of time, and then all of a sudden your business bounces back and it springs back to really a higher level, and all of a sudden they come in bunches. The deals come in bunches, and you just make up for all the time that the slow period. Kind of like the stock market or any investment market, it springs back. So installing a process control. You want to have a weekly routine. The process control is to help you stay on track. So you have to have a weekly routine. So you want to score your week, and we'll talk about scoring a week in a moment. You want to plan your week. There's a time in the week when you're supposed to plan, and then participate in a weekly accountability meeting. Okay, to keep you. These are some boundaries to keep you on track. So keep score. You track your lag indicators, which I mentioned are the end results, and the ultimate lag indicator is the 12-week goal. You track your lead indicators, activities that cause the lag which enable you to meet your lag indicator, the 12-week goal. The lead indicator will be are things like how many calls did you make, how many appointments did you set, how many buyer and seller contracts did you have signed, things like that help you reach that lag indicator. A lot of us track the lag indicators: number of units sold, sales volume. Those are the big numbers. But what are the small things that help you get to those numbers? You have to win the small battles. Small battles create momentum to get the bigger battle. To win the small battles create momentum to help you win the war. So the book shows and the studies show that if you accomplish 85% of your goals, into those weekly goals, you will meet your 12-week goal. So you have to score yourself every week. 85%, you meet the 12-week goal. If you accomplish 60% of the goals, then you will make progress, but you should still try to improve to the 85%. Let's see here. Regain control. We want to, in another concept, regain control of your time. So this is interesting. They said those employees or even professional people, they lose 28% of their time based upon distractions, interruptions, and getting back on track. 28% of the time in the course of a day. That's 11 hours. That's 11 hours a week. And wasting time here, I forget the book I read. It was the book that said watching television is the simple most greatest waste of time. It's wasting time. I say the only people who ever got rich watching TV were Cisco and Ebert. They went to go to the movies, it amazes me. People watch TV at home, and then they'll go to the movie, watch more, glorify watching TV, then come home and watch more TV. There's more things, something more you can do with your time. So average American watches 2.8 hours of television a day, which is pretty much wasting 12% of their life. I hate to seem negative about that, but my television is in the closet of the bedroom. I hardly ever use. I mean, even the news, I get my news online, and I watch the news I get is the news like CNBC, and talking about the markets, because I'm looking for an opportunity, not just a bombardment of negativity. So regaining control of your time continues. So what do you want to do? You want to time block. There are 3 ways you can time block. There's strategic blocks. The strategic block is 3 hours long early in the week. You want to do this time block when your work is slow. So maybe you can do it on a Sunday or whenever you have downtime. So, but you want to do it early in the week and plan your week. planning your week. This is strategic block where you're working on your business, not in your business. On your business, you're setting your business up, emphasis on the O, that other people do the work. Leverage. You want to work on the business where you're not working in the business. In the business, like Millionaire Real Estate Agent taught us, N is I do the work. On is other do the work. N is I do the work. So, and a lot of times I got caught up, and I'll share it. Any realtor, do not get caught up in the busyness of you doing the work. That's you're doing it. You can only do this so much. I like what Andrew said once. He said he takes a day off where he thinks. You have to sit back and you can think about how can you do this to make your process more streamlined, simple, where you can help more people with less effort and less stress. So you have the strategic block, 3 hours early in the week. The buffer blocks. The buffer block is when you're gonna block off some time for 30 to 60 minutes to respond to texts, emails, voicemails. Okay, twice a day, early in the day, later in the day. You don't want to create a situation where you're constantly going back and forth to your phone throughout the day. That's not the best use of your time. Okay, and then you got the breakout blocks. The breakout blocks, this is time when you do something apart from real estate, apart from being goal oriented. You relax, get away from the work. It helps you prevent burnout. And it's good to do this once a month until you can get in a groove or a system with your 12-week year. Once you do it with your 12-week, when you get in a system with your 12-week year, then you can do this once a week. So let's see here, time. And you're taking ownership. You want to take ownership of your work, of your actions. Your actions determine your outcome. I had to look myself in the mirror and said I had to do better than what I was doing when I did not have a full-time job and was just working whenever I was on call as a substitute. But I was able to take that situation, turn it into something good, because it was the day I wanted to work more real estate and my real estate business picked up. I didn't have to take calls. I didn't have to take assignments, and I can work the business. So regardless of whatever situation you're in, there's something good out of it. You can take it, you can turn it into a better situation. Don't wish that you had someone else's life, or if you had their business. You can make your life, your business, what you wanted. Nothing changes until we're serious about our goals. And once again, I just mentioned that, don't be a victim. There's no excuses. Well, if I had that price point, if I had that sphere of influence, you can build it up and you can have it. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. And you have to do things differently and do different things to get these results. Do things differently and do different things. I know I did this in terms of the professional aspect with real estate. We're all realtors. You can do goal set in terms of losing a certain amount of weight, being more in shape, getting blood pressure down, more regulate to a more regulated level, with family, with friends, spending time with your family, with your children. So I did it. I know there's something that we can do that we can all relate to real estate. So in conclusion here, like I said, I think it's a great concept for if you feel like you're behind in life or not where you want to be. You can quote unquote make up for lost time. You can accelerate your life. You can quadruple last year's production if you apply the concepts of the book. There's a financial advisor in the book that worked for Mass Mutual in Houston, and it says she increased her production 400%. Did not increase her price point. Did not expand to new territory. Just by using the concepts in the book and doing the work day in and day out, putting in the work, she increased her production 400% year over year and became the first female advisor of the year for that company 100, and that company been in business for 103 years, First Lady. So the concepts works is a great book for team production. I didn't go into team production, but you can have your team work on these concepts and agree, and everybody, and you delegate assignments and tasks to people on the team. They can do those tasks and you work cohesively as a team. And of course, there has to be chemistry in the team. And I encourage you to read it. You can go to the video, read it, and implement it for the fourth quarter and have a stellar year. Here's a couple of websites here. You can look that up. And there's workbook, there's resources, but that's what the concepts of the book are. The main concepts. Of course, there's some things I left out. I couldn't get everything in this hour, but some concepts about the book. Anyone have any questions or comments? I know I just pretty much lectured for a whole hour, but there was a lot of information. Very substantive book. Any questions, comments, ahas?
We got some good comments in the chat, Art.
Oh.
I think this was really informative.
Great. Thanks a lot. Great, very good. Thanks a lot.
All right, if you can leave your contact information in the chat too for people if they have any questions.